Legal Briefs. I am Sarah Bishop. Today we're going to talk just a little bit about wage and hour law. I've got a few questions about that recently, so I thought it might be a timely subject. One premise that we're going to start with when we talk about this is employees are entitled to be paid for all hours worked, right? It seems like a really basic premise and like you don't need to hear it from me, but sometimes it's good to just go back to that when we're thinking about things. So, for example, one question I've gotten is, can I require my employee to take a lunch break? The answer is yes, you can. But if they're working during their lunch break, then they have to be paid for that. Okay, so you can require them to take their lunch break. You can make sure they're not working on their lunch break. But if they do work on their lunch break, they get paid for that. The other thing is if an employee is making a repair or doing something else and messes up such that the job has to be redone, they're still entitled to get paid for the time they spend doing the job again. All right. And so this generally is going to apply to your hourly employees, not your salaried people, and not your exempt people. We're not going to talk about exemptions today because that's a much, much longer video. But for your basic hourly employees, they're entitled to be paid for every hour of work that they're performing, except when we get to overtime. So if it's over that 40 hours per week, then they're entitled not only to be paid for the work that they've been performing, but time and a half for hours over 40. Okay. Only your non-exempt folks. We'll talk about the exempt people another time. Another issue I want to make sure we're covering is what you can deduct from an employee's paycheck. All right. You can deduct anything that's specifically authorized by federal or state law, so your taxes, etc. And you can deduct anything that the employee has agreed in writing can be deducted. Okay, retirement contributions, that kind of thing. But you cannot deduct cash shortages if they're working a cash drawer and it's short. If more than one employee has access to that drawer, which is going to be the case most of the time, you can't deduct any shortage from their pay. You cannot deduct for any damage or loss unless it's obviously the result of, or I should say you could prove it's the result of intentional or willful damage by the employee. You cannot deduct for the employee accepting a cold check from a customer. You cannot deduct for breakage or fines, anything like that. All right. So unless it's specifically authorized by law or approved by the employee, you can't deduct it from their paycheck. All right. Those were just a few quick hitters on wage and hour. We're here if you need us and have questions. Thanks. Bye.